What's good, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Zamir from Accessy Tunes. In this video, I'm gonna talk about why I like to use Halion 7 and why I use this on almost all of my projects right now. Okay, if this is your first time here, please make sure to subscribe, turn on notification, and smash that like button and share this video to every music producers that you know in the world. Right, so let's get started. So the first reason I like Halion 7 is Decompose. All right, let me just load Halion right now. Okay, so Decompose, you can actually do it when you're sampling. All right, so for instance, let me get some sound here. Okay, let's use the same piano sample that we used before, right? So when I press C note, the middle C, this is going to be playing the original sample, right? But I don't want to use the same sample, right? Okay, this is my sample, so if I use this, then it's okay. But if I'm using somebody else's sample, I like to manipulate it, make it my own. And one of the way that I can do that is by using Halion 7, and I can use the decompose feature of Halion 7. Okay, so if I have a piano sample like this is what I would do. I'm gonna go to sample here. You can see decompose right here, so all you have to do is just click on it, and then you can click on the pre-listen, and we're gonna choose the tonal or noise. I like to use noise for tonal instruments like this because we obviously know there's a lot of tonal information in this sample, right? Because it's a piano sample. So I'm gonna use noise elements of this sample. So I'm gonna click on noise. So I'm getting this now. Okay, this is the sound I can hear. I don't know whether you guys can hear it loud. I'm gonna just normalize this one real quick. Okay, I hope that you guys can hear this sample right now. Although it's not that loud, let me just increase this noise. Alright, these kind of elements, I usually like to use it for drum rhythm pattern. So let's do one now. Okay, let me just apply this one real quick. So what I'm doing is basically just like committing to this changes of the effect. Okay, so let's I want to use it as the percussion, so I'm gonna cut the low. Let's add some effects to it. So modulator, this is one of the effects that I use all the time. We're gonna use the effects modulator. Okay, I'm just gonna use some preset right now. Let me just render this one, and I'm gonna increase the volume. Okay, let's use the FX modulator. See some breaks. Okay, I can use this for a lot of different things. I can use it as a percussion element of a song, or I can use it for a transition, right, from one section to another section, right? I mean, when I'm gonna add this, this will sound really good for as a transition effect. Boom. So this is how I've been using Decompose lately in my projects, and it's really fun. The fact that I have Decompose in Halion is amazing, because I've been using Decompose in Groove Agent and also in Backbone. I bought Backbone before I got Absolute 6. I've been using Backbone quite a lot, so but I always have to load the sample to Backbone But now that I have Halion, I can do pretty much anything within this instance of Halion 7. So that's number one reason that I like to use Halion. All right. Number two, when I load Halion, I get a bunch of sound designer tools. I can choose to have a single instrument, multiple instrument, and then I can have an analog synth, wavetable synth, spectral synth, FM synth. I can also sample an instrument within Halion 7, and I have the grain synth and then the organ instrument. So basically, when I load an instance of Halion 7, I get all of these cool stuff here, right? So I can just go ahead and choose whichever the sound that I want. If you already downloaded the content for Halion, then you have about 30 gig of sound already. So if you're not like me who likes to design sound, you can go ahead and just play with the preset. From a point of view of a sound designer, when I look at these settings or these options that I have to work with, it's really liberating. I have so many things that I can do with these, and that definitely inspiring me, which is why I have been using Halion a lot more nowadays. Okay, so the second reason is that I can use all type of synth available here without having to go and find some other instruments. Don't get me wrong, I do have a lot of instruments right here, you can see, and some of it I don't really install yet. But what I'm saying is that I have a lot of instruments out there, but I am always going to be coming back here and designing my own sound, and it's a whole lot more fun than going and finding other instruments, right? And that's the second reason. And now let's move on to the third reason. Actually, I went to the insert effects of this track here to add the FX modulator, right? But in Halion, when I go to the instrument here, I also have a mixer here, okay? And here I can add quite a lot of sound here. And let's say if I want to add a reverb here, let's add reverence. It changes the sound right away. Really cool. And I can add other stuff as well, like distortion. I have a lot of other sounds that I can use here. So one of the things that I wish is that if they allow us to use a third-party plugin here, it will be even better. This is really awesome. I can add like tape saturators, I can add a drive. You know what I mean? And I can bypass if I don't like it. We have these sampling features. You know what I mean? I can do quite a lot of stuff. Modulators. So we have vintage ensemble. I can add all these effects within this instance of Halion 7, and also I can choose to have whether I want it in the slot, which means it only affects the first slot. If I add another instance of analog synth, okay, no, let's add it. If I'm using the out here, it will affect everything here. But if I just use a slot, I can individually add those effects and sculpt the sound in the way that I want. This is a really cool and powerful feature of Halion 7. The third reason is that I like the fact that I have the mixer on each of these slots individually, and I can go ahead and just manipulate my audio or the synth the way I want. Okay. The fourth reason that I like to use Halion 7 is that it's CPU friendly, guys. The thing is, I can add 16 slots here, right? And it's only one instance of Halion. I'm not going to be using 16 different synth in a song. Okay, that never happened. I don't think I've used that much of virtual instrument or synth in one song. But the fact that I have this Halion here and I can add maybe 8 or 9 without having to worry about CPU, that is a win for me. So CPU friendly is something that's very important to me, because sometimes I do a lot of heavy projects with all the videos tracks and all that stuff. So I like plugins that are CPU friendly. The fifth reason to use Halion 7 is that it works well with Cubase. So for instance, let's say I'm going to a virtual instrument here, I click on Halion here, and I get a bunch of options that I can choose here, right? So I can just click on these. Now I can press my key, and it's gonna play the sound, right? Without having to open an instance of Halion 7, right? So I can just go and audition the sounds like so. I don't have to worry about to load the instruments and then test each of these presets, you know, because it works well with Cubase. You know what I mean? So these are the 5 reasons why I think Halion 7 is a powerful beast when it comes to music production. So thumbs up if you think so as well. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video.